I've decided that my videos from now on are just going to be me talking. I don't like, because I kind of feel like they're just, I was following some sort of convention that they have to be like super entertaining, super all this and all that. But, I like doing this and I want to make it like kind of podcasty. I want to make it kind of like interesting to listen to, but also just very normal, just talking, just me. And I like to track, like, just sort of, I don't know, I just feel like I should do it like this. I'm currently in my apartment. I'm about to move to my new place next weekend. And I just wanted to talk about how sometimes I feel like I'm being punished by the universe. About how narcissistic is that? Like, how narcissistic is it to think that the universe, that's impossibly big, infinitely big, full of infinite universes and bound to have infinite, you know, infinite species and infinite life forms, and why it would pick to punish me. That's kind of like a narcissistic way to think. But, that's what I think. And because sometimes I have these things that I feel like are huge, I have to keep a secret. And it's like my secrets that I hold in. And if I tell anyone, or I get close to telling anyone, my first thought and my gut reaction is, fuck, don't tell anyone, because, then the universe will take that away from you. They'll take it away from you, and then because you're talking about it, like you're turning this thing, this gift from the universe, into some sort of conversational thing, into some sort of, thing that you're using to add, to draw someone in or something like that, or to add interest to yourself. I can give you an example of that because it happened and I told someone and then I lost it. And this example is when I used to do this thing. I think it might have been a stress thing, it might have been an anxiety thing. Who knows? I used to do this thing where I used to have this thing, this gift. I used to have this person that was in my brain, and I felt like I could close my eyes, or sometimes I'd just be at work, just walking around, and I'd walk around the corner of this house, this big white house with the waterboard on the side, and it's all white and imposing, and the grass was all green and super soft and like medium length. I'd go around the corner, lush green grass, and in the background there'd just be these low set bushes, and there'd be like a wide brim hat in there. And this figure was always gardening. They loved to garden. I can't tell if it was a boy or a girl. I hadn't quite decided on whether it was a boy or a girl. I had kind of leant towards a female, energy that they were giving off. But to me, in my mind, they just had like a purple outline, no facial features, just like this energy. And I'd go around and I'd say, "Hey, how are you?" And they'd be there. They'd sit up. And it was always so comforting. It was always so, "Hey, how are you? How's your day been?" And then we'd go and sit in the house and we'd talk and be super relaxing and it'd be super nice. And I truly, truly loved my experience in that house. And the house it was like an empty house. It was like, now that I think about it, I'd open the door and it was like a wooden floorboards. You'd go into the kitchen. There were never any decorations, never any, nothing too over the top. Maybe there was a couch in there, but it was just like all very neutral and very calming. So anyway, I was with my friend once. Like I went out, we were watching RuPaul's or something like that. We were like having a good night, and then afterwards we were talking, and I'm like, somehow we got into this conversation about faith and like whether you believe things are real and what makes things real. Is it the physical senses? Is it the physical being able to see, touch, smell, experience them in that way? Or is it the way that they influence? I believe it's the way that they influence you, and what they'd think, what they'd say, you'd know how they react. And so if you knew that, and that comes to your head, and it encourages you to influence the way that you react and think and move, then doesn't that make them real in a sense? And it's about having that faith, like being able to have that faith. Because the T is, the faith that you have is the existence of these things. Like, I have faith, obviously. Like, you have faith that I exist because you can see me right now. And I have faith that, like, this table is here. I have faith that all this stuff is here because, like, I have so much faith because I have all these evidence. But, like, if you give faith into other things as well, like, I have faith that this person in my head was real because, you know, I had such feelings. I had such strong feelings and I really felt like I could see them. And so I was talking to him about it, and the moment I started to teeter on talking about this person that I had in my head, I had this fear in my throat, and I was like, no, like, you shouldn't say it. Like, don't say it. They'll be angry. They'll be angry at you. This person that's always so calm and so warm and so comforting to me will be angry at you for explaining it and using them as sort of like a thing to make you seem interested. I wasn't trying to make me seem interesting, but it's like they would perceive it as I'm taking away of the purity of this entity that had, you know, found a home within me and that I had communicated with, that they would be angry at me for doing that. So anyway, I told this guy about this person that I'd talked to, and I actually told him that I was worried that they'd get angry at me for that. We talked in the whole afternoon, As I was leaving, it was night time, I walked down to the tram stop, and I was standing by the tram just like waiting for it to come, and I was thinking like, no, because I went to this house, I like relaxed my mind and I went to this house and, you know, it was empty. And I was walking through and I like couldn't see, like I couldn't, they just weren't there anymore. And I had like, it wasn't that they were there and they were angry at me, but I had like these thoughts of them like, you know, angrily packing their bags and angrily walking out the door. And that's it, like, and no matter how, I know it's my brain and I know I should be able to just control it and just wheel them here again. But I just wasn't, after that moment, I was never able to have that person come back. And so I really, you know, and I was really like, shit, like, why can't I just control, like, why can't I just make this person come back? It wasn't something that I had control over. They just left. And the reason that they left was because I told someone about them. They did come back once. A couple of weeks later, I must have been having a stressful night. I can't really remember what had happened during the day, but they came back for a few moments. And I'm like, please, just stay, please. And I was just like hanging out with them. And I knew, like, I had this feeling that it was just like the last time that I'd see them. And it was the last time and they haven't come back. And that's why, like, I kind of talk about it now, because I'm like, oh, well, they're not, you know, they're not going to come back. Like, I've known that they're not going to come back. So I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes, I don't know why I'm saying this, but it's kind of interesting, I guess. And this is what I want to do. I just want to talk about things that I'm thinking about. I want to make this YouTube channel kind of podcasty, kind of me. Like, I don't want to do this, I don't know, I just want to live like a real human experience. I don't want to have these, I don't want to be fake. I'm sick of, you know, being anything but living in this human experience and like doing all the deeper stuff, and like I'm sick of going like, oh, this video's too long, or this or I didn't make a joke, or stuff like that. Anyway, and I mean, like, why post it to YouTube? Why not? Yes. And I want to do it like this, just sitting down, just relaxing, and just making a video, because it's, you know, it's nice. Anyway, I hope you like my story, and I'll do more videos. I'll talk about more things.